So we were discussing about the United States in the morning, right? So what did we identify? What did you pick up in the lesson in the morning concerning the United States? Yes, dear.
It's a tool.
It's a two-horn power. Okay, good. And where do we see that from? Revelation 18, it talks about the United States having two horns. Right? Because what happens when he sees another beast rising up out of the earth? He sees it with what? It's a lamb like this. So a lamb has two horns. Okay, good. Yes, brother.
Yeah, that's what I want to say.
Okay. What else? Because we went at length identifying Isaiah, right? Identifying the role of Christ, declaring the end from the beginning. That whatever you see today, it was there in the past. You might not know it, but it was there. And we need to move out of this mindset where we think God is divorced. We are divorced from biblical history. That biblical history is limited to the sacred canon, where you have the last person writing around AD 70, then that's it. Right? That everything else is not pertinent unto us, or is something that way we can read and we can only draw moral lessons. Right? But there's a statement that I'm thinking of where Sister always says that, I think it's Prophets and Kings 4:19. Is it 4:19? Where she says that you. Can you read Prophets and Kings 4:19? I think it's paragraph 3. Please select the messages. 4:19, paragraph 3. If I'm not mistaken. Where he's talking about Isaiah and John and Ezekiel. That's the one. Please select the messages 4:19. Paragraph 5. Okay, good.
The last books of the Old Testament show us workers taken from the laborers in the field. Others were men of high ability and extensive learning, but the Lord gave them visions and messages. These men of the Old Testament spake of things transpiring in their day. And Daniel, Isaiah, and Ezekiel not only spoke of things that concerned them as present truth, but their sights reached down to the future and to what should occur in
These last days. You see, so when Ezekiel is seeing whatever he's seeing, he's representing God's people at the end of the day who are going to remember. Daniel is given a promise. What is Daniel's promise? He says, "Oh my Lord, what shall be the end of these things?" He says, "Shut up the word and seal up the book, even to the time of the end." And his promise was this: at the end of the days, you shall stand in your lot. And Sister always says that the standing in your lot is what? What is the standing in your lot?
Fulfilling purpose.
Yes, fulfilling purpose. So when you as Daniel begin to study the books like he did in Daniel chapter 9, so that you can understand the role of the United States in Bible prophecy, you're fulfilling, you're standing in your lot. And you'll see that whatever was spoken of about the United States has been made plain. That's what he says. I understood by the books the number of years that we have to accomplish the 7 years in captivity in Babylon. So everything was plain to him. I was reading about Daniel during the week, where he sort of identifying that even before the captivity, he understood. Because he was reading his books were Isaiah, Jeremiah, and this is what identifies those things as testimonies. Right? Do you see? And what are testimonies? It's a common answer that seminarians should be able to do. The spiritual prophecies. Right? So what does the Bible say? We have the law and the testimony. If they speak not according to this way, then there is no light in them. Right? That means if you are Seventh-day Adventist, it is not possible for you to give a Bible study without the testimony. Why? Because it is the testimony that opens up. For example, we identify the United States. Sister White just placed the nail on 1798 and the United States rising up. How are you going to guess that? You can't guess it. Example, John the Baptist. What was John the Baptist doing in the wilderness? Baptizing. Can you prove a baptizing in the Old Testament plainly? No. But there were things that they did that were representing the baptism. But he was the fulfillment of the baptism. So the church cannot move without the spiritual prophecy. So you see, we're going to read a lot of spiritual prophecy interchangeably because it's scripture. But it's two things. The word of God is a double-edged sword. It's not a single-edged sword. it is the Bible and the spiritual prophecy. So we cannot choose one above the other, but they complement one another. That's what she says, right? Okay, good. So then we went on to look at Isaiah, and when looking at Isaiah, we're looking at the end from the beginning. We read Revelation chapter 1, Revelation chapter 22, where John was identifying that the work of Christ is declaring the end from the beginning. Right? We're together?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at a little bit about what is a kingdom, right? What is a king? What is a city? And what are they representing? Right? So that when I was saying Isaac is representing the United States, then you ask me, how can a person represent a nation? Right? Right together. Or we say that the lamb like this had a horn. How can you say that that horn is a nation? Or it's a principle? You get my point? So we're just going to look at the scriptures that identify that. Right? Okay, good. So let's start with Daniel chapter. Let's start with Daniel chapter 2, verse 37 to 39. Daniel chapter 2, verse 37 to 39. So it's a common, we know these verses, but we're now just going to use these verses to tell us what these symbols mean. Right? Sister White says in Review and Herald, November 25, 1884, and in 1888, which was 403, that Seventh-day Adventists, when we began as a church, we were given rules by God to use to interpret the scriptures. Those rules, by and large, are not used within the confines of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Right? But they were supposed to be used. And you're supposed to use them. Right? We should know for ourselves what constitutes truth and what are the rules and what are the rules that have been given us from the highest authority. So those rules are the rules that she said that were given to William Miller when she says in Review that those who have proclaimed the third angel's message are doing so upon the same plan that Father Miller adopted. And then she gives a brief synopsis of the rules that Mr. Miller was given to help him expound on prophecy. Because who was Mr. Miller? Mr. Miller was the beginning of Adventism. Right? So, will these rules work at the end of Adventism? Why do they end at the end of Adventism? Yes, it declares the end from the beginning. Right? So what God gave in the beginning, up to 1844, is of vital force at the end, especially at the end. I'll just put sign below, then I'll just put time of the end, since we have the time of the end here, which was 1798. Right? That's good. And we know this already. How many of us have read about the story of the Hebrew captives going back and Cyrus giving the first decree, the second and third decree? Right? If you read that story, Sister White will tell you correctly that the interpretation of the word of God was restored back to God's people. Right? When they were rebuilding. Right? But it took 490 years. Right? Up to 34 AD. Right. I'll just put 27 AD here. Okay, I'll just put time at the end so that I don't confuse people. Right? At the beginning of this history, what God did for these people is He raised up Daniel. And Daniel continued until the first year of Cyrus. And what was one of the roles of Daniel? It was to explain to Cyrus clearly the scriptures. What was the work of Ezra? Ezra the scribe. You should read the chapter of Ezra in Prophets and Kings. Yeah, but it was not only to teach, but it was to, yes ma'am.
Ezra's job was to encourage.
Encourage.
Even the time when the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when they were going to get put to the fire, and then the thing, Ezra was ready, it really disturbed him a lot. That's when he felt, if I can say it in Shona, I can't shungu to say that, but thing, we now will come away from this. But he had hope, he didn't lose hope. Ezra didn't lose hope. In fact, he encouraged the Hebrews. He said that don't worry about deliverance. He encouraged them.
So, yes. So, at the time of the end, God used Daniel as one of his representatives to explain the scriptures. Right? But at the end of this history, when Christ came, what was the role of Christ with the scriptures? But what was he doing? He was doing the work that Ezra, Nehemiah, Daniel had done in this history. He was restoring that work at the end of the history, at the end of the Jewish nation. So what he was doing was, it was not a new thing that Christ was doing. If Daniel was there, they would have understood what he was saying. Right? But the problem is that when time passed, as time progressed, they forgot. That is why when you get here, you get these three classes of people. But what I want you to see is this. It is the beginning which typifies what happens at the end. So can that happen for a nation?
Yes.
Right, so you're going to have one case study. And you're going to have a case study on the nation of Judah. The nation of Judah was a two-one power. Why? Benjamin and Judah. So the nation of Judah, in one level, is typifying the history of the United States. Its beginning, right? And its end should show us that story. As an example, how many kings were used by God to start the nation of Judah, or the nation of Israel as a whole? How many kings? 3 kings. Right? You already know that goes of these 3. So they should have just taken a guess. Right? So you have Saul, David, and Solomon. Under Saul and David, there are 2 things that are built up. They consolidate what we call the host, or God's people. It is under Saul and David where the host of God's people are consolidated. Under Solomon, what does Solomon do? Because his dad could not do it. He built the sanctuary, the temple, right? So what does Exodus 25:8 say? Let them build me a sanctuary, let them dwell amongst them. So for Christ to dwell amongst them, he needed the sanctuary and the host. The sanctuary and the people. So by the time we get to this 3rd king, it is made up. So can someone guess what happens at the end? Because Christ declares the end from the beginning. So what was going to happen at the end?
No, he said it himself to the disciples, said that there will be no stone, one stone left.
So the sanctuary is going to be destroyed. Right? So under Zedekiah, what happens? The sanctuary is destroyed. Right? What happened under Joachim and Joachim? In the 3rd year of the reign of Joachim, king of Judah, who came and took us captives? Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. And then, when Joachim is reigning, what does he do? He comes and takes everyone except the poorest source of the land. So what is happening is, what was established first was the host is also taken first. Do you see that? Right? When the host is taken first and then the sanctuary is destroyed. Why does he do that? Because he declares the end from the beginning. That's why he said, hey, if your gods are true gods, let them show you what's coming. Because I can show you what's coming at the beginning. Right? Do you see that? Right? And we know this for many stories. Right? Another good example is at the beginning of Israel, God used 3 family members, right? When Israel is being begun after the story of Egypt. There was who? Moses, Miriam, and Aaron. There were 3 family members. At the end, when Shiloh is taken, how many family members were there? 3. Who were they? Eli, Hophni, and Phinehas. Right? Why does he do that? Because he declares the end from the beginning. So you see, this pattern is the pattern of Christ. And these patterns, they are teaching you stories about the end of the world. So remember, what we're now doing is we're going to look at the story of Judah. Because remember, the first king, what was he? A Benjamite. So,
Yeah, Saul was a Benjamite.
right? Good. And the second king, Judah. To the end, up to Zedekiah. So the tribe of Judah. So I'm saying, this illustrates the history of the rise of the United States. And this history, this final history, it illustrates the history of the glory departing from the United States. Are we together? So you're going to read spiritual prophecy quotes that will show you what we are talking about. So that you understand that the United States, which you are saying that is the sixth kingdom Bible prophecy after the papacy in 1700, which is rising. Its beginning had a similar structure. Right? It was glorious. Right? And its end is going to be a sad end. That's what Daniel chapter 11 is teaching. So let's go to did I read those quotes about kingdoms? I did not.
Not yet.
I did not. So let me just do that. So Daniel 2, can you read Daniel chapter 2? One is reading Daniel chapter 2.
Verse 37. Yes.
Daniel 2, 37 to 39. Someone else, Genesis 25, 23.
Okay.
Someone else, Daniel 8, 20. Let me just give the verses. And someone else, Daniel 7, 20. So I'm just going to put them on the board. Genesis 25, 23, Daniel 2, 37 to 39, Daniel 8, 20, Daniel 7, 24, Revelation 11, 8, last one. Okay.
Verse 37. Thou, O King, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven, hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise.
So what does he see in the vision? We know the story. Right? So what does he see in the vision? An image with the head of gold. But he's being told that thou art the king of kings. You are this head of gold. So a king is a kingdom. Right? A king can represent a kingdom. So, but is a king a person?
Yes.
So a person can represent a kingdom. That's why he said, I have appointed the ancient men to tell you the things that are coming. Let them show them unto you. Right? We get the principle. Okay, good. Let's go to the one, Daniel 8:20. Daniel 8:20.
The ram which thou sawest, having two horns, are the kings of Media and Persia.
And Persia. So the Medes and the Persians are two nations. Right? In one. And the horn, each horn was representing?
Each nation.
Yes, a nation. And a nation is a kingdom. Let's get it. Okay, good. Daniel 7:24.
And
Yes, please do so.
And the 10 ones out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise above them, after them, and no release that again. And the 10 ones out of this kingdom are the kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and these shall be diverse from the first, and these shall subdue 3 kings.
What is the difference between Daniel 8:20 and Daniel 7:24? The ones in plural are mentioned as one kingdom. You see that? Because it's important for where we're going.
Okay.
The ones plural are one kingdom. Right? You see that? Okay, good. Revelation 11:8.
Verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified.
Good. So now we have a city. Can a city be a kingdom? Where do we get that?
Babylon is called a city.
Yes. Babylon, that great city. Right. So a city is a kingdom. Remember when we were identifying Isaiah 28, 29 and 30. Isaiah 28 is the war upon the leadership. 29 is upon the city, but the city is the kingdom. Right? And 30 is upon the people. Right? So a city is a kingdom. Right? Good.
Genesis
Let me read Genesis.
25:25. And the Lord said unto it, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
Is that true of the Medes and the Persians? Was one stronger than the other people? Yes. So can you correctly say that this story is telling you about the story of the Medes and the Persians? Yeah. Right? So if it's talking about the Medes and the Persians, can you talk about the United States? Okay, good. We might not have all the, because the thing is, with this studies, is the more you study and look intently, the more you behold how it perfectly fits. Right? So you might not see how which one Republican or Protestant comes up last. Right? It may not be hard. It might be hard, but it is there. It can be. It is because if it's there in the past, it's there in the future. What you just need is the piece of information to tell you that it's there in the future. We have to get it? Okay, good. So, right, good. So, we are going to look at the beginning of this kingdom. Right. And we're going to look at the role of David and Solomon as 2 kings reigning once. Right. When they're reigning together. Do you know how the parents reign sometimes? Like, he's the first ruler and you have a second ruler. We have 2 rulers, 2 kings reigning in a kingdom at one point in time. Like how the Medes and Persians conquered Babylon. There were Cyrus and Darius. They were reigning as 2 co-kings at one go. Right? Okay, good. So that shows you the 2 kings in one king. Okay, good. This is coming from Education, page 48. Education, page 48. It says this. The beginning of Judah is a... Sorry, this is me. The beginning of Judah is a 2-1 power that typifies the end of Judah. So this is the quotation now. The principles taught in the schools of the prophets were the same that molded David's character and shaped his life. The word of God was his instructor. In the early life of Solomon, also are seen the results of God's method of education. I want you to understand. When these nations are prosperous, there's God's method that is being used. You see, the reason why Adventism was prosperous in this history, which history, I don't remember, this history, is because they were using God's methods. Right? Solomon in his youth made David's choices on. Above all earthly good, he asked of God a wise and understanding heart. And the Lord gave him not only that which he sought, but that also for which he had not sought, both riches and honor. So can it be said of the United States that it was given riches and honor at its beginning? Right? The power of his understanding, the extent of his knowledge, the glory of his reign became the wonder of the world. In the reigns of David and Solomon, Israel reached the heights of a greatness. So was it a glorious land? Was it a wonder of the world? Is the United States a wonder of the world? Is the United States a wonder of the world? It is, right? It's a glorious land. I'm going to Daniel chapter 11, verse 41. It's a wonder of the world. But I'm going to read a statement to show you that she confirms this. This is Spiritual Prophecy, volume 4, 398. We read it in the morning, but I'm going to read it again. It says this: the greatest and most favored nation upon the earth is the United States. Right? A gracious providence has shielded this country and poured upon her the choicest of heaven's blessings. One of the guys who writes, I think it's the history of the Protestant Reformation, I think J.A.Y. or G. Albany, it tells you that where Protestantism was, there was success. It tells you about the Reformation in Germany, how Germany became a good economic powerhouse because of Protestantism. Then it shows you how Portugal and Italy failed to grow like how Germany and them grew because they refused true biblical principles. The United States was based upon the First Amendment, which is the true biblical principle, where you separate what? Church and state. And that is the secret of His glory. That's what the word says, right? That separation. Okay, good. So, in the beginning, you have two kings, David and Solomon reigning. So can you have a history? What do you expect at the end? If you're going to have two kings where it's at its height of prosperity, what can you expect about its end? Two kings. Right? At the height of prosperity. That's nice. Okay, good. So let's go to the book of Isaiah. So let's go to the book of Isaiah. It will seem like a seeming contradiction because I was pointing you to Kim, Chin, and Zedekiah, but I'm pointing you to a history which is typifying the end. Right? Why? Because it was typifying the end. But you see when you read. I haven't lost anyone. Because this is very important for you to get to, because when you get now to the last person in the United States, I'll be moving. So I need this blanks so that you can understand how we can easily use these symbols as we like, governed by William Miller. Isaiah. I think I'll start with chapter 1. Then I'll go to chapter. The vision of Isaiah. So remember we read the quote concerning Isaiah. Where does his vision reach unto? The end of the world. Right? So the vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos, which is so concerning Judah and Jerusalem, concerning the United States, right? A tool power. In the days of who? 4 kings. Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. So I'm saying Uzziah is teaching you the story of the time of the end. Because he's given 4 kings. So this is the progression up to the last one, Hezekiah. Right? But Uzziah is marked as the beginning of the downfall of the two-world power. Are we together? Okay, good. So let's go to Isaiah chapter 6, verse 1. What does it say? In the year that who? So when King Uzziah died, what is it marking? Among other things, it's the time of the end. It's the death. The death, you see, everything in the Bible is progressive. There's nothing which is instantaneous. The ceiling is progressive. That's why we learn about sanctification, growth. That's why we say their cup had not yet reached its cup full, right? About the Amorites, right? Because everything is in progression. God gives time, but you can mark a time when the progression begins to die, right? Okay, good. So let's read a few statements. One statement from Sister White about the end of Uzziah for the United States. She says this: the long reign of Uzziah, also known as Azariah. Right? Uzziah was known as Azariah. Sorry, this is coming from Prophets and Kings 303 to 304. So this is PK 303 to 304. So that we read this up. So the long reign of Uzziah, also known as Azariah, in the land of Judah and Benjamin, was characterized by a prosperity greater than that of any other ruler since the death of Solomon. So you are going to see that the United States, under the last kings that are going to be identifying, it is at its height of prosperity. Although there is a decline because of the east wind, but it's at its height of prosperity. Are you together? Right? For many years, the king ruled with discretion. Under the blessings of heaven, his armies regained some of the territory that had been lost in former years. Cities were rebuilt and fortified, and the position of the nation among the surrounding peoples was greatly strengthened. Commerce revived, and the riches of the nations flowed into Jerusalem, as the riches of the nations flowing into the United States. When you're doing a business transaction, do you know where it goes first? Online. If you're buying anything online, where does the money go first? In New York, in the United States. Why? Because they control the money. Right? Verse of Revelation 13. Right? He controls the money. And can you say commerce has been revived? Now. Yes. Yes, commerce was revived. Business. You know, okay, how do you know that commerce has been revived? Look at the companies. Google is making huge profits. Apple is making huge profits. And where does Apple sell its products? In the United States. Not in the United States alone. Right? It's a global company. Coca-Cola is a United States company. So all these big companies, they're from the United States. Even most of these major breweries, I think Jotto has already been bought by South African breweries. South African breweries is owned by a German brewer. And this German brewery is owned by an American brewer. Do you see that? So all these things, they go to the United States. It's a glorious land. Right? It's the glorious land. Right? So this outward prosperity, however, was not accompanied by a corresponding revival of spiritual power. So this prosperity, can you say that it's a nation that is fearing God? How can you be fearing God whilst you're passing gay laws? Yes, that's what this is identifying. Right? The temple services were continued as in former years. Multitudes assembled to worship the living God, but pride and formality gradually took the place of humility in the worship of the living God. But pride of Uzziah himself is written, when he was strong, his heart was lifted up to his destruction, for he transgressed against the Lord of his God. The sin that resulted so disastrously to Uzziah was one of presumption. So when they're passing the Sunday law, what is it? Presumption. Right? In violation of the plain command of God, what plain command of God are they going to be violated? The fourth commandment. Right? That none but the descendants of Aaron should officiate as priests. The king entered the sanctuary to burn incense upon the altar. What was he doing as a king? Church and state. What is the United States going to do at the Sunday law? Church and state. So you see that this is a fitting symbol of the progressive fall of the United States. Right? Azariah the high priest and his associates remonstrated and pleaded with him to turn from his purpose. Thou hast trespassed the age, neither shall it be for thy honor. So when the United States is going to be passing in Sunday law, Is it going for its honor? What is going to happen? Ichabod, its glory is going to depart. Its honor shall be no more. Right? That's what. Okay, we get to Daniel 11. That's what Daniel chapter 11 identifies. Uzziah was filled with the wrath that he, the king, should be thus rebuked. But he was not permitted to profane the sanctuary against the united protest of those in authority. While standing there in wrathful rebellion, he was suddenly smitten by divine judgment. The leprosy appeared upon his forehead. What is this? This is the mark of the beast on his forehead. This is so. With this progressive fall, it ends up with him receiving a mark on his forehead, which is permanent up to his death. Right? In dismay he fled, never again to enter the temple clothes, because unto the day of his death, some years later, Uzziah remained a leper, a living example of the folly of departing from the plain. Thus says the Lord. Neither his exalted position nor his long life of service could be pledged as an excuse for the presumptuous sin by which he had marred in the closing years of his reign, and brought upon himself the judgment of heaven. God is no respecter of person. So when he got this mark of the beast, he reigned with his son co-jointly, because he could not no longer participate. Because the rules were strict. That if you have leprosy, you need to be cut off from God's people. So at the beginning, you're going to have two kings, and they're prosperous. At the end, you have a prosperous, but who is falling? Presumption. Do you see that? And this is typifying the history of the United States. So this is just one teeny example of how you can just take any story of a two-horn power and show its application at the end of the world to the United States. Right. So in closing, because I just needed to clarify this. In closing, let's just do a recap of what I covered in the morning. Great Conference 441, paragraph 1, said that republicanism and Protestantism became the fundamental principles of the nation, referring to the United States. These principles are the secret of its power and prosperity. So we're going to look at characteristics. Because remember, one of the arguments that you get in the world today is that the United States is not ruling every nation. But we're saying the United States is the sixth kingdom of Bible prophecy according to Revelation 18. Right. So characteristic number 1, said it's a two-horn power. And it is what? Republicanism and Protestantism. Right? What is the role of the United States today? It is to bring back the papacy back to its original position that it had before it was given the deadly wound. Right? But for it to do that, is it the first kingdom to put the papacy on the throne of the earth? So there's a kingdom that put the papacy on the throne of the earth. So could that kingdom also be a two-horn power? And what was the name of that kingdom? France. Right? So Clovis of France, I think married someone called Clotilde, who was a Catholic. Clotilde, yes, who was a Catholic. And she influenced her husband's decision concerning religion. And because of that, they took part in the driving away of the Visigoths and Ostrogoths. It is, you know, that history. And they put the papacy on the throne of the earth in 538. But at the end of this history, who removed the papacy on the throne of the earth? France. Right? And who was France? So let's read who was France. Right? Revelation chapter 11 verse 8. This is about, so you need to go to read the book called Great Controversy. There's a chapter called The Bible and the French Revolution. Okay, good. So Revelation chapter 11 verse 8 says that, and their dead bodies shall lie in the great city which is literally called Sodom in Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So Sodom in Egypt is a symbol of France. So this is closing, I'm not closing. The great city in whose, this is Great Controversy, 269 paragraph 4. From that chapter. The great city in whose streets the witnesses are slain, where their dead bodies lie, is spiritually Egypt. Of all nations represented in Bible history, Egypt most boldly denied the existence of the living God. Where does the United States deny the existence of the living God? At the Sunday law. Right? So this is France, this is the USA. So at the beginning, I'm putting France in France here, and you're placing Rome on the throne. I want people to get confused. And you're placing its removal. So because the United States is going to place Rome on the throne of the earth, when can you mark this? Sunday law. Nice, mama. Good. So this, we mark this at the Sunday law. Tuluan, are we together? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Then, at another point in time, because in Revelation you will see that the false prophets and the kings, they will be angry with the war, and they will go in what? Burning, right? So I'll just put it at the close. Right? They're going to remove her from power, the United States. So, good. Of all the nations presented in Bible history, Egypt most boldly denied the existence of the living God. So here the United States is going to say, who is Jehovah? By passing the Sunday law. Right? Then we're going to the next characteristic. Then the great city is also compared spiritually to Sodom. The corruption of Sodom in breaking the law of God. What was Sodom well known for? Licentiousness. Right? Sodom was well known for what? Licentiousness. And what is licentiousness? Today. It was about gay laws. Right? So before the Sunday law, you need to see something about gay laws. Why does it have to be like that? Remember the first week of creation, what happens? What happens on the sixth day? A proper marriage relationship is established. Right? So I'm going to put this as day 6. And what happens on the day 7? It was the Sabbath. What was the Sabbath the type of? Sunday law. Are we together? Right? So, before the United States passes the Sunday law in the United States, there is a waymark that precedes the passing of the Sunday law, where the United States of America passes gay laws. Because it is a nation that passes laws which cannot be repealed. Are we together? So the United States has to pass gay laws. Has this happened? Is it happening? Is there agitation for this? So what does it tell you about the nation of the United States in the soon coming crisis? So that means we need to prepare, amongst many other things. Right? The beginning, so when we're looking at these two world powers, we're going to learn about characteristics about each nation that was preceding the United States. And all these things, we bring them line upon line, and they foretell the history of the United States. We bring the history of Uzziah, church and state. We bring the history of Sodom and Egypt. And God is not redundant. With each of these two world powers, God is identifying a different characteristic that you need to understand and wrap your head around, so that you understand the dynamics of the events of the close of probation. Are we together? Right? And that is why we say the United States is the sixth kingdom of Bible prophecy. But which is really, to me, it's the last kingdom of Bible prophecy, before Christ puts his kingdom. Because at the Sunday law, they're going to grasp him, and he's going to put his hand over the gulf and over the abyss, and grasp spiritualism, and grasp what's the term? Spiritualism and Romanism. And they're going to form a threefold union. And when they form a threefold union, that means spiritualism is the world. That at the Sunday law, it's ended. That happens in the United States, but it happens in the world. Instantaneously, they kiss each other. Right? So that's what I'm saying. This is the last kingdom. So you need to Rebbe has around. Obviously, we're going to identify the time of the end. We're going to identify now how each of these kings is noted in the word of Scripture. Like how we read Isaiah chapter 6 and 7, that the year that Uzziah died is marking the time of the end. And you can mark these 4 kings in the time of the end. How would you get it? So I'm going to end here. Does anyone have any questions concerning the United States? No questions means 2 things. Yes.
Okay, just a clarification when you say was your last point emphasized on the United States of America being the last kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And for someone who might not understand where the point that you're driving at, and they have read Revelation chapter 17, where there is the 7 and then there's the 8. Can you just clarify, because of course yes, I picked your closing remarks, but just to clarify a little bit so that someone can understand clearly the relationship between the 7 and the 8.
What is, okay, how does Daniel 2, 7, 8, 11 identify the first kingdom as Babylon, right? And the second? Greece, paper Rome. So read with 5. Right? And this one gets its share in 1798. Right? It's still the one. Then Sister says that she sees another beast. She sees another beast rising out of the earth, which you call the USA. Which makes the USA what? Number 6. Right? But according to Revelation 13, what is the USA going to do? It's going to force all the nations of the earth to do what it has done. Right? So you're going to have, or just put the nations of the earth as put, how do you want me to put them? United Nations. I don't want to confuse people because they're new people. So you have, this is the 6th and this is the 7th. But when they put the United Nations, who comes now into power? Who has fully regained his power? The papacy. That's why it's 8 versus the 7. Of the 7. The papacy always comes up number 8, but I'm not going to do that one, number 8. Then is number 8, but it's the papacy. Good. Right. But if you go to Revelation chapter 16, remember we studied line upon line. In Revelation chapter 16, you're going to see the great city Babylon divided into 3 parts. Right? Which is called what? Huh? The dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. Why is a prophet called the false prophet? Because there was a prophet that once was teaching truth, but then teaches lies. So it is the power that changes. So which power of these 3 powers is featured with the false prophet? The United States. Right? So this one will become the false prophet. Right? Which one is the beast? The papacy. And which one is the United Nations? The dragon. Then if you're going to be reading Sister White, she talks about the universal bond of union. Under this threefold union. The United States cannot do its work without these guys. So these guys have to work together to accomplish their end. That's what I'm saying. In actual fact, that's why they say that this kingdom is called what? The 6th of the 6th of the 6th. That's why it's 666. It's the 6th of the 6th. That's why his number is 3 score and etc. Right? Because they rule together for 1 hour as one nation. Because this is a one mind. And on one hand, the paper power. The paper power is going to be the head. And the United States is going to be the arms. Right? The force and the economic might. And then the belly is going to be the United Nations, which is going to do all the digestion and trampling down across people. Right? But the point being is that You cannot separate. So I'm saying they kiss each other. They cannot work. So what Revelation chapter 17 is doing is giving you the story of how the deadly wound is healed, but with the spiritual emphasis of the exact chronology from how the battlestick is passed from the United States to the United Nations to the papacy. But if you study that, you need to look at Daniel chapter 2. Daniel chapter 2 says, in the days of these kings, this threefold union, it's the sixth kingdom. The God of heaven is going to establish an everlasting kingdom. So, after this kingdom, there's going to come God's everlasting kingdom. But it is in the days of these kings that God is going to accomplish that. When they form the threefold union. I need to finish because we need to go to this 7th, because I want to hear the 7th. But I'm going to, what I'm going to do is, I'm writing the notes in an explanatory fashion, so that anyone can read and understand the intricacies of the history. Right? So can you pray? Dear Father in heaven, we thank you so much for your word. To the pilgrims of old, it was a source of comfort and rejoicing and hope. As we are living in this world filled with sorrow, may this scripture that we've read about the story of the United States coming to its demise be a blessing unto us. We read of two characters in the Word of God, one by Amos and one by Christ himself, who said that Abraham desired to see my day, which is the day of the Lord. But Amos then also said that, woe unto you who desire the day of the Lord. May you make us be that class like the one that is identified by Christ, who, like Abraham, we desire this day of the Lord. But make us prepare our character, that we might have that heart in mind that was in the mind of Abraham, so that we might desire this day of the Lord. Because there's a war if we're not prepared. Help us, Lord, and make us understand, and as the studies ensue, may you bring more clarity on certain subjects that have not yet clicked on our mind, that we might understand the nearness of the canon, that we might do the work of preparation that is demanded of us. We thank you for the mothers that are among us. We thank you for the fathers that are amongst us. And we thank you for the youth that are amongst us. And in terms of grooming and encouragement, may you foster that kind of relationship that is seen within the family, as we are identifying that we are already in the story of the family with the gay laws marked in the United States, that you restore our relationships amongst us as friends and brethren, our relationships in our families, that we might, as kids, might learn to honor our fathers, and as the mothers might learn to respect the word of God concerning the will of the children. In Christ's name we pray for all this in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.